Exactly. You could play him up and down the line of scrimmage, Sasha. You got a one-dimensional football player who had a good year. And I'm not saying it. Look, Jordan Davis had a good year. 26 large? Wow. For a guy you pull off the field. Rebuild on the fly? Expound, please. Losing season incoming. Again, well, here. So now you have a hole at edge. You have a hole at corner. You lose Blankenship. You'll have one at center or at safety. I think you need more help in the interior with depth in your D line. And I clearly think that Nolan Smith has not panned out. On the offensive side, you've got to hope the center and guard, left guard, Landon and Cam bounce back. Okay? You've got to hope that the running back hasn't regressed. Because the $244 million offense you have underperformed in 2025. It regressed. So much so that you hired a brand new entire coaching staff. By the way, this is all the things you've done this offseason. Here's the things. Let's go down the M. Reyes line. Here's what your offseason has been. Okay, here. I'm just going by your actions. Okay? For the Eagles, 2026. Okay. So here's what you did so far. Okay? And then you could tell me if I'm wrong or right here. Okay? Your offensive coaching, you've hired a brand new offensive coordinator, a brand new passing game coordinator, a brand new run game coordinator. You have a brand new offensive line coach. You fired Jeff Stoutland, basically. You now have lost Jalen Phillips so far. You've re-signed and extended Jordan Davis. Am I missing anything? Am I missing anything? Anything? Like anything positive? A offense who's 25th. You lost Dotson? Whatever. Not the big deal. What else did I miss anything? You lost Christian Parker too. That's right. So here's what your offseason has been so far. By the way, I'm only reading what you've done. This guy's trying to make this about me. Here's what the Eagles have done, good and bad. Okay? Good and bad. You got a brand new OC, never called plays. They got Josh Grisard, who was fired by the Bucs as your new pass game coordinator. You got a new run game guy. You've got a new offensive line coach. You fired Jeff Stoutland. You have, let's see, you lost Christian Parker. You extended Jordan Davis. Have I missed anything else? Good or bad? Add it. These are all things you've done so far to March 9th. Let me see here. Got to double check. Got to double check here. Hold on. Okay, here. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Is that anything else? Can we wait till the draft? Well, wait a minute. That's a great take. Are you going to try to sit there and tell me the day after you draft 3 players that you don't have any idea how they're going to play until they get into the NFL, that you're going to sit there and say you had a good draft on that Monday? How would you know that? They don't even have helmets yet. Don't you have to wait and see how they play? Give them 3 years? How will you know if you have a good draft? Based on what, RC3? How will you know if they're good? How will you know that? Handpicked? What does that have to do with guys not owning helmets or a pair of shoulder pads? They wouldn't even have a pair of shoulder pads or helmets that Monday after the draft. And you're going to sit there and tell me you think you had a good draft? Based on what? Based on what, dude? Bro, listen to this guy. The goalpost is now at the draft will not benefit you. No. The draft, don't know if it will benefit you. That's not what I said. How do you know that? When you draft a guy who's never played a down in the National Football League and doesn't even own a helmet, on Monday, you're going to proclaim that they had, because they played at Eagle Creek University, that it's a good draft pick? That's how you look at the draft, Emreyes? Wow. So if a guy plays great against Eagle Creek University, you're going to just assume by giving that guy, so the draft is a complete toss-up for everybody then. Yeah. Welcome to reality? Yeah. There's no such thing as metrics and analytics for incoming players. Correct? Do you think we were born yesterday? No, I think you were. You're giving the benefit of the doubt. And you're going on potential. Potential means you haven't done shit. Okay? You're borrowing with that claim? Bro, I've had that claim for 35 years in sports talk that I've had. That claim. I've never given a great grade out on a Monday. How do you know? I haven't even seen the guy or heard anything about the guy in minicamp. Sales, Eagles have to get younger and less expensive. We could be looking at needing 4 old linemen soon. Yes, I told you that. You're going to, next 4 years, you're going to have to replace almost that entire offensive line outside of Jordan Mailata. Draft picks are all about projection. You're projecting the worst and others may project the best. Both can be right. Correct. That's why you can get a Moro Ojomo in the 7th. And that's a really good pick. Or you can get a Nolan Smith at 30. That's not a good pick. I mean, according to Emreyes, Nolan Smith is supposed to be a great football player because he went to Georgia and he was drafted 30th. Well, that's not been the case. That's not been the case. Or that Sidney Brown being a 3rd rounder. Or here's a better one. Cooper DeJean going in the 2nd round. If you redid that, Cooper DeJean's a top 15 pick.